£120,000 a year is the worst salary in the UK, at least according to this TikToker who is a chartered wealth manager.
Earning £120,000 is probably one of the worst salaries you can get in the UK.
And as you can imagine, the internet had a lot to say about this. And on the surface, it sounds pretty outrageous, right? How can someone earning nearly 4 times the average salary in the UK possibly be worse off? So first up, is £120,000 a year the worst salary in the UK? Now, let's get the obvious out of the way. It's easy to have no sympathy for someone who makes £120,000 a year. But the truth is that this is a problem that goes on up and down the pay scale, where making more money can actually make you worse off. These are known as fiscal cliffs, where an increase of even as little as £1 per year can make someone financially much worse off. Now, there are 2 parts to this that we'll discuss, so we'll start off with taxes, which is the smaller of the 2. On the surface, £120,000 a year sounds like you're winning at life. That's over 3 times, in fact, nearly 4 times the UK's median salary for full-time employees, which in 2025 was £37,430. But it would also be remiss of me not to discuss how this salary fits into the bigger picture. At the moment, £120,000 per year will put you in about a top 3% of earners in the UK. But the counter to that is that the number of people making over £100,000 a year has been steadily increasing, as you can see here. With the tax bands having been frozen for the last few years, this is going to mean that more and more people could face problems exactly like this one. So whilst it might only be 3% now, it's undoubtedly going to be more and more people in future. The number of people on 6-figure salaries leapt by 13.7% in a year to 754,000. Almost double the 394,000 in 2012. The data shows the number of higher rate taxpayers rose by 15.1% between 2021-22 and 2022 to 2023 alone. The number of additional rate taxpayers rose by 9.6%. So just to add context to this, why is £125,000 the worst salary? So once you earn over £100,000, you start to lose your personal allowance. For every £2 beyond £100,000, you lose £1 of that in the tax-free allowance. Now, what this basically means is that by the time you hit £125,140, your personal allowance has all been used up. So the 120k that everyone keeps discussing is actually £125,140, but doesn't quite have the same ring to it, does it? Now, this gives us what is more commonly known as the 60% tax trap, a hidden effective tax rate that hits high earners harder than you might expect. And this is especially stark given that the top marginal rate of income tax in the UK is 45%. But there's also another factor that we haven't even got to, which is national insurance. The current employer national insurance rate is 2% on anything above £50,270. That gets you to a staggering 62% marginal tax on your salary between £100,000 and £125,000. Now, so a minute ago, I said that there were 2 parts to this fiscal cliff. We've covered the taxes, that bit's done and dusted. And now we move on to the benefits. And I think this is the bigger one personally. So once you cross £100,000, you don't just lose your personal allowance. You also lose access to 30 hours of free childcare for under 5s. To qualify, both parents must earn less than £100,000 each. Now, this is really where the numbers get hefty, frankly, because the average cost of a full-time nursery for a child who is under 2 in England is £12,425 a year. So for 2 young kids, that's nearly £25,000. So all the extra salary that you make gets completely wiped out in childcare costs, a benefit which you are no longer eligible for. And when we combine these 2 effects of the increase in tax and also the loss in childcare, you get this graph. Now, the eagle-eyed of you will notice that this is the same graph that was in the original TikTok that kicked off this whole conversation. This chart shows earnings after tax for high-earning parents in London with 2 children and 50 hours of childcare. So as you can see, once you hit that £99,900, you're essentially no better off until you start earning £144,500, which is nuts, just truly nuts. And also the Times had this analysis that a £2,000 bonus can end up costing you £12,000 if you make £99,000. And they basically broke it down into 3 sections. You get the loss of 15 free childcare hours, you get the loss of tax-free childcare, and you also get the loss of the personal allowance. But here's the thing, this goes on right up and down the pay scale. And maybe the most important question is the worst salary actually much lower? So right at the start of the video, I mentioned that this is a problem that goes on up and down the pay scale. So let's just broaden our analysis to people who make less than £120,000. Take a look at this here. This analysis is from the excellent folks at the Tax Policy Associates, which shows the real marginal tax rates. Now you can see here we have the 60% 2% tax, the 60% tax trap plus the 2% national insurance we've already discussed. But that actually, if you have kids, people further down the pay scale get hit even harder. But even this data doesn't show the complete picture. We've already discussed that you need to look at the loss of other benefits like childcare to get the full picture. So take a look at this analysis from The Economist, that if you have 2 children, then you also face a potential 60% marginal tax rate. And if you have 3 kids, then you're up at nearly 70% marginal tax. Now, we should clarify that this has been somewhat amended by the HICBIC, or the High Income Child Benefit Charge, now being tapered rather than cut off and having the limit increase from £50,000 to £60,000. But the truth is, nonetheless, the point remains, this isn't just an issue that affects top-rate taxpayers. But let's zoom out even further. So let's set the scene a little bit by looking at 3 incomes and see what the tax breakdown really looks like. First up, we have someone making £30,000 a year. So here we have £12,570 personal allowance, and we pay 20% tax on the £17,430 of our income. Next up, we have a £70,000 salary. Again, we have the same basic allowance of £12,570, and then an additional £37,700 is taxed at 20%, and the next £19,730 is taxed at 14%. And we get to our final person making £160,000 a year. This puts you in the top 2% of earners in the UK. And incidentally, since I imagine you're all wondering it, to be in the top 1%, you need to make £201,000 a year. So at £160,000, you'll lose your personal allowance. So you're paying 20% tax on £37,700, 40% tax on £87,440, and 45% tax on £34,860. And the difference is clearly still big, but it's just not as big as you might expect, especially considering the difference between the highest and the lowest in our example is about 5 times. That doesn't necessarily translate into someone making 5 times the take-home pay. But then you add the bit that nobody mentions, which is that if you have a student loan, then you're paying an additional effective rate of 9%. It's basically a graduate tax. So you could be talking about a real marginal tax rate of over 70 or even 80%. What can you do about it? And take a look at this from the Times. The best way to avoid the cliff edge is to reduce your adjusted net income. This may sound counterintuitive, but there are ways that you can do it to make you better off overall. First, work out your adjusted net income by adding up your salary, savings, property, and share income. Once you've worked out how much you need to reduce your net income by to get below the £100,000 a year threshold, consider making additional contributions to your pension. Now, just to rewind slightly, we mentioned at the start that there are 2 things that people get wrong with this headline. The first thing is this is not your gross salary, which most people seem to think it is. It's this here, your adjusted net income. This is your gross income from all your sources, minus any gift aid, minus any pension contributions. Now, these contributions can be both your employer-sponsored or those you can choose to make on your own, which you'll have to claim the tax relief for through your self-assessment tax return. Basically, by making pension contributions, you're reducing your effective taxable income. And if your pension contributions reduce your taxable income to less than £100,000 a year, your personal allowance will be restored in full. And the principle is simple, and the nuts and bolts go something like this. Let's say you earn £110,000 and you want to bring your taxable income back below £100,000 to dodge this 60% tax trap. You might imagine you have to write a massive cheque for £10,000 to a pension company, but actually you only need to write the cheque for £8,000, which is still a hefty sum. This is because the pension company will automatically top up your contributions by £2,000, which is your basic rate tax relief that you'll get from HMRC. You'll need to fill out a tax return too, because that's how you claim the rest of the tax relief that you're due, and that will be paid directly to you as a refund from HMRC. So the truth is that in order to avoid most of these tax traps, the single easiest thing you can do is contribute to a pension. Now, for the most part, it's recommended that you should generally be maximising your contributions that your employer will match. That's free money, which you also get tax relief on. But pension contributions will play an absolutely key role in making sure you're managing these tax liabilities. Now, the method for making these pension contributions, which we've just talked about, can also apply to non-employment schemes. So now we've cleared that up, pensions being the big one that you can use to reduce your taxable income, what else can you do? You can donate to charity to cut your income to under £100,000 and get tax relief. And the other option is to go for a non-cash benefit like childcare vouchers, private medical insurance. These will all help to keep you below that £100,000 threshold. As always in these cases, the best option is going to be to seek guidance from a qualified professional, someone who can really help you navigate this plethora of tax rules which we all seem to be drowning in. As I said at the start, it's easy to assume that someone who's getting paid £120,000 a year has it easy and all that. And to some degree, that is undoubtedly true. But I think we should also acknowledge that this has highlighted some real quirks in the UK tax system, that the £120,000 tax trap is not the only one. We've discussed the one that goes on between £50,000 and £60,000, and that can be even more perilous for people. And we should also point out that 2 people who earn £99,000 will qualify for free childcare, but 1 person in a family of the same size making £101,000 will get nothing. And just take a look at some of these stories, which I suspect will make your stomach churn. Jim Ratcliffe, the richest man in the UK, moved to Monaco in 2020 to save an estimated £4 billion in taxes. Alan Sugar tried to move to Australia to avoid a £186 million tax bill that was due on UK earnings, including a vast £390 million dividend paid in 2021. But because he's a member of the House of Lords, his tax residency has to be in the UK. Very funny stuff. He's also suing his accountants, so that makes it even funnier. Sir Philip Green in 2005 avoided paying any tax on a £1.2 billion dividend because it was paid to his wife and she is a resident of Monaco. Again, she paid no tax to the UK authorities. That would have cost them about £285 million. Vodafone sold its share in Verizon Wireless, the US carrier, for £84 billion and was accused of, quote, sweetheart deal between Vodafone and HMRC, which allowed Vodafone to forego a reported £6.75 billion in tax. The Duke of Westminster paid £9 million on a £9 billion fortune when his father passed. So whilst it can be easy to point at someone who's making £100,000 a year and say they've got it easy, which to some degree is undoubtedly true, we should also acknowledge that there are people with gargantuan sums of money who pay little to no tax, where if you are very, very rich, then paying tax just seems to be completely optional. And I think those people are more deserving of our ire than someone who've undoubtedly had a bit of luck and work hard for their money. Now, we have this video just here on how to pay less tax legally, and this video just here about how you can pay less tax on your savings. And comment down below, what are your thoughts? Do you think the tax system is absolutely crazy? Do you feel sympathy for some of these people? Or do you think the tax system is penalising people who are just working regular 9-to-5s? Or do you think there are people who have much, much more money who are just gaming the system? If you've liked this video, please like and subscribe. You've been watching Modern Money Talk. Thanks very much for watching.